We are going to start our workshop. First of all, I'd like to thank Claude Brzezinski and Michela Redi-Busaglia for accepting our invitation, and also all the speakers that made this event possible. So it's my pleasure to introduce Claude Brzezinski. Firstly, I'm going to read a brief presentation of his CV. Claude Brzezinski is Emeritus Professor at the University of Lille, France. After his studies in mathematics and physics at the University of Paris, he spent some years as a research engineer at several places. After obtaining in 1971 his doctorat d'état in mathematics at the University of Grenoble, under the supervision of Professor Noël Gastinel, he got an associate and then full professorship at the University of Lille, where he was the head of the Laboratoire d'analyse numérique et d'optimisation for almost 30 years. He is a member of the Royal Academy of Sciences of Zaragoza, Spain. He retired in 2005. His research interests concern convergence acceleration by extrapolation methods, Pate approximation, continuous fractions, orthogonal polynomials, numerical linear algebra, and history of science. He wrote 20 books and over 230 research papers. He supervised 60 theses. He was an invited speaker at many international conferences and universities for short and long visits. He was a member of the editorial boards of several international journals, and in 1991 he founded Numerical Algorithms, which is now in the top rank of numerical analysis journal. He still is its editor-in-chief. He has been the main collaborator of Michela Redi-Busaglia for almost 30 years. They published together several books, many research papers, and organizes several international congresses. He has collaborated with Portuguese colleagues and came regularly to Portugal for more than 35 years. In 1982, in a congress in Germany, he met Manuel Rogério de Jesus da Silva, full professor of this department, who recently passed away, who invited Claude to give a series of 8 lectures in Porto. Then, in 1985, Ana Matos went to the University of Lille for doing a diplôme d'études approfondies and a doctorate thesis under his supervision, and in 1989 it was my turn to do the same. Also, he was the PhD advisor of Mário Graça from Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon. He was invited many times to Portugal by Manuel Rogério, Ana Matos, Mário Graça, and myself. He gave many lectures in Porto, Coimbra, Lisbon, Bragança, and Vila Real. Also, he participated in the thesis committees of José Matos from ISEP, Maria João Rodrigues from this department, and Ana Filipa Loureiro from the University of Ghent, UK. In this special event, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank you, Claude, for all work you have done for all of us. Thank you. Now Ana Matos are going to say some words about her experience as a student and a collaborator of Claude.
Bon, moi je vais parler en français. Je pense que tout le monde comprend. C'est bon? Et je vais lire parce que je ne suis pas très à l'aise. Mon cher Claude, que de temps passé depuis mon arrivée à Lille en octobre 85, venu préparer mon DEA, suivi d'une thèse sous ta direction. Une grande aventure commençait pour moi. J'étais loin d'imaginer que presque 30 ans après, plus tard, je serai de retour dans mon université d'origine pour rendre hommage à ta carrière scientifique et à ton important rôle dans la formation de chercheurs à Porto. Et c'est étrange, mais la première sensation que j'ai eue ce matin-là dans ton bureau a continué tout le long de ces années. Ton accueil, ta simplicité, ton parler franc, ton empathie, qui contrastait beaucoup avec une certaine hiérarchie que je connaissais à Porto, ont beaucoup contribué à ce que je me sente très bien dès mes premiers temps à Lille et font qu'aujourd'hui, te retrouver, c'est toujours un immense plaisir. Difficile de résumer l'importance dans ma vie de t'avoir rencontré. C'est avec toi que j'ai démarré la recherche et c'est grâce à toi, à ton énorme culture mathématique, à ton honnêteté intellectuelle, à ta générosité, que j'y ai pris goût. Donc, un grand merci. On a depuis fait un grand bout de chemin ensemble. On a enseigné ensemble, on a écrit des articles, on a participé à plein de conférences et j'ai même partagé des vacances avec ta famille à Luc-sur-Mer, des soirées de bridge et des moments de tristesse dans la perte d'être cher. C'est ce qui fait la richesse d'une relation. C'est un témoignage personnel. Mais je suis sûre que dans les 4 coins du monde où je te connais des étudiants et collaborateurs, du Maroc à l'Espagne, en passant par la Chine, l'Italie, la Norvège, la Pologne, la Grèce, il y a toujours des chercheurs en mathématiques qui salueront tes grandes qualités de mathématicien, ta gentillesse, ta bonne humeur, ton immense culture, ta générosité et ton amitié. Je dis aujourd'hui un grand merci à un ami qui a contribué à mes succès professionnels et personnels à plein d'égards. Je te souhaite, mon cher Claude, que tu conserves encore longtemps cette curiosité et enthousiasme pour des sujets aussi variés que l'histoire, l'art, la science, cette bonne humeur et plaisir d'échanger qui font le bonheur de tous ceux qui te côtoient. Et j'espère bien en profiter. Voilà.
Bon, maintenant, Claude, nous allons avoir le plaisir d'entendre et d'assister à ta conférence. Tu peux venir.
Oui.
Il a le droit, largement. Il faut lancer le fichier.
Non, mais il faut mettre full screen.
Le tien, c'est un.
Oui. Il faut mettre. Voilà.
Alors, vas-y.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Zelia and Paolo for their invitation and organization of this event. I am very, I don't know the English word, but very pleased to be again in Porto because I was there, as Anna said, for a long time. I was not here for 9 years now, but I don't forget Porto. So, today I will speak about a work that we did with Michela and Youssef Saad. And this has been published recently in Siam Review. Okay. What is next? So I will speak. Chance transformation is a transformation to accelerate sequences. Among all the acceleration methods which exist, chance transformation is one of the best. For some special case, there are transformations which are better but I think chance has a wider spectrum of applications. So I will describe chance transformation not only for a sequence of scalar, but for a sequence of elements of a vector space. Of course, when we are doing computation on a computer, a vector space is difficult to handle, so it means vectors, sequences of matrices, and now tensors. We will speak about an extension of chance transformation that we derived with Youssef and Michela. We will see some particular method. I will put this somewhere else. We will see some properties. We will see the connection with for solving linear system with quasi-Newton, and we will speak about something which is very much used for some years now. It's Anderson acceleration method, which is a method for solving system of nonlinear equations. So, in computational science, it's often necessary to obtain the limit of a sequence of objects of a vector space. So, as I said, scalars, vector, matrices, tensors that converge slowly to their limit or even diverge. And in some situation, when you have a convergent process, sometimes you can just modify the way you are constructing your object to have a better conversion. For example, if you are solving a system of linear equation by the Gauss-Seidel method, you can transform it into SOR by adding an optimal parameter, but it's just a transformation of the way you are building your sequence. But sometimes it's not possible because the sequence you have to accelerate is coming out from a black box, and you cannot manipulate what is inside your black box. So in that case, what can you do? You can transform, you take your sequence as it goes out from the black box, and you transform it by a sequence transformation into a new sequence which, under some assumptions, will converge faster and obviously faster to the same limit. So, and among these general techniques, Chang's transformation is, and this is a quotation from a paper by Peter Grace Morris, he said that it's arguably the best all-purpose method for accelerating convergence of sequences. So now I will present a general framework for Chang's transformation. As you see, there is an S for a sequence of elements of a vector space. And this framework will include many methods which are used for solving system of linear equations, nonlinear equations. So the minimal polynomial extrapolation method, the reduced rank extrapolation, the modified minimal polynomial extrapolation, the topological Chang's transformation, and also Anderson acceleration. And we will discuss also Anderson acceleration. So, you have a sequence of elements of a vector space which converges to a limit S. And you assume that for a fixed value of k and for all n, the elements of this sequence satisfy this difference equation of order k, where the alpha are real or, if you prefer, complex numbers, so that neither alpha 0 nor alpha k are 0, because if one of them is 0, so you just replace k by a smaller number, and it does not restrict the generality to assume that the sum of the alpha is 1. The sum of the alpha has to be different from 0, because if it is 0, you can replace S by any other number. And so it does not restrict my generality to assume that they sum up to 1. And the set of these sequences is called the Shanks kernel. Daniel Shanks was a numerical analyst. I could have put photos. He was a numerical analyst. He was working near Washington at Bethesda Naval Ship Research. And in 1949, he published a memorandum about its transformation, and he wanted to defend a PhD about that, but he first had to pass all the exams before, and the paper was only published in 55. So, for a fixed value of k, we want to transform our sequence Sn into a new sequence Tnk, such that for all sequences satisfying this difference equation, Tnk is equal to S. We want to build a sequence transformation having this property. So, and of course, if you know the coefficients alpha I, your transformation immediately follow. If you know, let me come back. If you know these coefficients, S is given by alpha 0 Sn plus alpha k Sn plus k, and this is equal to S. So if you know the alpha, there is no problem. But now, if you don't know the coefficients alpha, you have to write k plus 1 you have the normalization condition, the sum of the alpha is 1, and you have to add k scalar equation, because you cannot solve such an equation in a vector space. You have to transform this into scalar equations. And how to do that now? Of course, if you can compute the coefficient, you can compute them. If your sequence does not belong to the Shanks kernel, you can still compute the coefficient alpha I, as we will see. There are several methods for computing them. But of course, now they will depend on k and n, and the transformation is still given by this. So, we will present now a general framework including all sequence transformation with the preceding kernel that we saw before. So, we need two mathematical tools for building our transformation. The notion is an extension of the notion of Schur complements. In Schur complements, usually A, B, C, and D are matrices. But for us, E is an element of our vector space. B is a row formed by Q elements of E. If you want, you have B1, which belong to E, B2, which belong to E, and so on. C is a vector, a scalar, a vector of scalars of dimension Q, and D is a square and a regular Q by Q matrices. So the extension is that A and B are elements of E. Now, this is the extension. And the extended Schur complement of D in M is defined by the usual formula. But this is an element of E because D minus 1, C is a vector of scalar, and you multiply your matrix of elements of E by this scalar, which is a linear combination of the columns of B, and you subtract this from A, which is an element of E. So this is an element of E. And we call determinant of M the element of E obtained by expanding M with respect to its first row by the classical rules, and we have the extended determinantal Schur formula. So this is the extension that we did with Youssef and Michela. We assume now that we know a second sequence Tn of elements of E called the coupled sequence, which satisfies this recurrence relation for all n, where the alpha are the same as the alpha in the kernel of Chang's transformation, the same. And the Chang's transformation we will build with these two recurrence relations will be called a coupled topological Chang's transformation. So now, how can we compute these famous coefficients alpha? So we have to transform an equation in E satisfied by the coupled sequence into an equation in R. A real, because, for example, let me come back. You can think, oh, of course, if the Tn are numbers, you can write this equation by replacing n by n plus 1 by n plus 2 and so on, and you have a system of linear equation. You can solve it and obtain the alpha. But if the Tn are vectors or matrix, the alpha are still scalar. What can you do? You have to transform this equation into a scalar equation. So we take an element of the algebraic dual space of E, that is a set of linear functional on E, and if V is an element of E, we will denote by this the duality product between E star and E. And now there are three different strategies for computing my coefficients alpha I. In what follows, when I write Y or YR, they will be elements of E star, linear functionals. Of course, you certainly know that if, for example, V is a vector, what can be a linear functional? It can be a vector, and this is a usual scalar product. If V is a matrix, what can be your linear functional? It can be the result of the duality product can be the trace of the matrix. It's a linear functional on the vector space of matrices, or the sums of all the elements of your matrix. Okay. So, the polynomial extrapolation strategy. I write, this is the difference between the two first strategies. N is fixed. I fixed N in my coupled equation. And I take several yi, and this is my normalization condition, and I take k elements of E star yi, and I use the duality product, and this is a system of k plus 1 equations, scalar equations in k plus 1 unknown, and so I can solve my linear system, and I obtain this sequence transformation. And this transformation can be also written in that way. If you prefer, you just replace the second row by its difference with the first one, and so on. Each column is replaced by its difference with the previous one, and this can be written like that. Why do I did that? It's just because I can write it as a Schur complement. You see? The Schur formula, SL minus this vector multiplied by the inverse of this and multiplied by this. This is exactly what I did. And the notation here, Tk and k is this matrix, and T1 and 1k is the first column of this matrix. In this case, it's just Tn. Chunk strategy. Now, again, I start from this, but now I will take only one element of the dual space, which will be denoted by y, and I move the index n. I write this for several lower indexes. You see the difference. In the first case, only n fixed and several yi, now one y and several equations. And this is chunk strategy, and I obtain again a ratio of determinants, either under this form or under the second form, and I have an extended Schur determinantal formula. Of course, the matrix Y is much more complicated. The Z are the zero elements of the dual space E star. There is a third strategy. You can write this by, you can replace the alpha 1, alpha 0, alpha 1, alpha k, which sum up to 1 by this equation, with the beta I are related to the alpha by this relation. And now I do the same, exactly the same as before, and I solve this system of equation in the least square sense. This is the third strategy. And again, I obtain a Schur formula. And this is a particular case of the polynomial extrapolation strategy, but with a different matrix capital Y. And again, you have a Schur determinantal formula. Okay. So now we have to discuss how to choose your coupled sequence Tn, which satisfies this difference equation. So the general choice is just to take Tn equal delta Sn, which obviously satisfies the equation, because if you take the kernel, you write it for n plus 1, you subtract, the S disappears, and you obtain just this. So this is and there is something that we call fixed point choice, because these methods have many applications, and among these applications, one is very important, is to solve a system of nonlinear equations. And you can write your system as a fixed point problem, or you can write it in an equivalent way as f of s equals 0 in E, and we take Tn equal f of Sn, where Sn is any arbitrary sequence of iterates for solving your linear equations. So you see what we did up to now. Each method depends on two selections. the selection of the strategy, the selection of the couple sequence. So polynomial extrapolation strategy, chunk strategy, or least square strategy. And two choices for the couple sequence, the general choice or the fixed point. So we have 6 transformations. This is why I put an S to chunk transformations. Now let us look at some particular case. The polynomial extrapolation strategy was given by this formula. This is what was written before. The minimal, and among this, you can find with this choice for the yi and this choice for the coupled sequence, you recover the minimal polynomial extrapolation strategy. With now delta square instead of delta, the same for the coupled sequence, you recover the reduced rank extrapolation. For the modified minimal polynomial extrapolation, the yi are linearly independent linear functional, and again the same choice for the coupled sequence Tn. And in all cases, you have the sure form of the transformation. And for the topological chance transformation, it's a little bit more complicated, but you can also write it like that. This is an important point. The minimal polynomial, modified minimal polynomial extrapolation and the topological chance transformation can treat sequence of a general vector space. It means that the Sn can be in the practical case, if you want to make computation on your computer, the Sn can be vectors, they can be matrices, they can be tensors. But it's not possible with the MPE and the RRE, which can only be applied to vectors or matrix sequences. If you want to apply them to vectors, it's the usual scalar product. If you want to apply them to matrix, the duality product is just the Frobenius inner product. Why? Let me come back. Where? Oh, no, it's too far away. It's too far away. It's here, for example. Here, yes, it can be, but no, it was, sorry. It was in the choice. Here. Of course, this is an element of E. So E and E star, E and E star have to be the same. E and E star here and here have to be the same. Okay. Some properties of this sequence transformation. You saw that the formulae for T and K, they all have the same general structure. What changes is the definition of the matrices, which are involved. And in fact, you can write them like that, all like that, where gamma is the solution of this system of linear equations. And this is an important property. Instead of beginning, you remember when I wrote the ratio of determinant, I always began with Sn plus 1, I can begin by Sn plus 1, Sn plus 2. I can begin the first row by what I want, by Na Sn plus I for Na I between 0 and k. It gives you the same transformation. This was a known property of the scalar chance transformation, but this has been proved for the first time in our paper with Mikela and Youssef. And we have some orthogonality properties, some Galerkin condition which establish a link with projection methods for solving system of equation. If the Tn k tilde is defined like that, where gamma I is the solution of this set, instead of Tnk, I put now Tn plus Ik, a shift in my indexes, then you have this orthogonality property. Maybe it's completely unuseful to know that, but it's a property. And now we have the following well-known results. All these sequence transformation, they are able to give, they are direct method for solving a system of linear equations. But when I say that, I don't say that they are practical methods, because the storage is too much, and it does not compete with Gaussian elimination or so on. It's just a theoretical property which shows that if you apply, you have to solve I minus ms equals d, this system of linear equation. You build your iterates like that. To these vectors Sn you apply your transformation, and T0m is the solution of your system, where m is the degree of the minimal polynomial of m for the vector S0 minus n. This is a property that even Shanks knew about it. So, some other property. The TA, the RRE, the MMPE, MP, they are Krylov subspace methods. And in fact, the sequence xk obtained by Longshaw's method for solving this system of equation, if you start from x0, and everybody knows that Longshaw's method can be implemented by the biconjugate gradient method of Fletcher, then the sequence T0k that you obtain by the topological epsilon algorithm with this particular vector y is exactly the same as Longshaw's. Maybe you knew that Fletcher died. It was what, 1 or 2 years ago. I don't know what I was doing on the web. It was written. A professor from the University of Dundee is missing. The police is looking for him, and he was walking in the forest near Dundee, and he was found dead after some days. So the exact date of his death is not known. Okay, another good friend who disappeared. So there is a connection now for system of nonlinear equation. I solve this system of nonlinear equation, and I do the following method. I set S0 equal my iterate xn. I compute some iterates like that, and apply the polynomials of one of the strategy to the iterates Si. I compute, I use my Shanks transformation, and I restart from this. And this is this is a quasi-Newton method, because a quasi-Newton method is written in that way, where GS is an approximation of the inverse of the Jacobian, and this is the metric Gn which I have. Okay, a similar restarting procedure can be done with other methods that I described before, and all these methods converge quadratically to the solution of your system under some assumptions. When at the beginning, we were several people who had the idea of this type of method. It was around 1971 or something like that. I wrote a compte rendu à l'Académie des Sciences. Gekeler, Skelbo, many people, and we all claim there is a quadratic convergence, but in all our proofs there was a gap. There was a gap. We all wrote capital O of something, but the constant in capital O was depending on the iterate. And the first proof was, correct proof, was done by Hervé Leferrand for the topological. But this was in, I think, in 92. And also for the other method by Khalil Jbilou, Hassan Sadak, Abderrahim Messaoudi, and so on. They have many papers of this. Now we will consider some particular case. Tell me if I am too late. Particular case. The modified minimal polynomial extrapolation with this short. If you take k equals p, the dimension of your system, if your yi are the vector of the canonical basis of Rp, you find a method due to Peter Henrici. It is in his book, Elements of Numerical Analysis. I don't offer. And this Henrici method can be recursively implemented by a recursive algorithm that we call the H, of course, for Henrici algorithm with Hassan, or it can be implemented by the S-beta algorithm due to Khalid Jbilou in his thesis. He published after a paper with Hassan on this. Now, the reduced rank extrapolation, which is one of the most used transformation, we fix n. If you in this formula, you fix n at 0, so we use only these forward differences, and if you use this for solving a system of linear equation, T0k is the solution obtained by the k step of the full GMRS. We recover the GMRS. And if the linear iterations are restarted from this, then the RRA becomes GMRS k. They are mathematically equivalent. So this means that GMRS can be also considered as a quasi-Newton method. So, Anderson acceleration. It is called Anderson acceleration, but it is not a method built for accelerating a given sequence. It's a method, as we will see, which built its own sequence for solving a system of nonlinear equation. You just start from an x0 and it builds its own iterates. So you choose an x0, my notation, you solve f of x equals 0, you set fi equal f of xi, And after, we have to construct, you are at the iterate k, you want to construct your new iterate xk plus 1. So you first define an integer m. Mk is the minimum between m and k. You define capital Xk as the previous iterates, Fk at the previous value of the equation of your system. Then you compute the vector theta k, which minimizes the Euclidean norm of this. Theta k is given by this formula. And then your next iterate is given by a linear combination of the previous iterates. There is a bar because you make a linear combination and xk plus 1. And beta k is a parameter. Usually most of the people are taking beta k equals 1. And this is the Anderson method. So you see, it's not a method for accelerating a given sequence. You build your sequence. Each time you go up. If you take, of course, a very large value of m, you grow. If you take a smaller m, after m, you keep only the last m vectors in the computer memory. Okay. An Anderson acceleration method is at the beginning, Youssef wrote us, he asked, I think that there is a connection. He was attending a congress in the US, and Anderson was giving a talk, and Youssef wrote us, I would like to look if there is a connection between Anderson method and the RRE or MP. And at the beginning we thought the connection was with MP, but we were wrong, and the connection is with RRE. RRE is a variant of Anderson acceleration because in the two methods the vector theta k I show you before are chosen in a slightly different ways. And this is Anderson method. You see, you compute. So if you replace this, this is, in fact, this is the matrix, the same matrix as you have in RRE. If you replace this by the matrix you obtain either in MPE or MMPE or TEA, you obtain a variant of Anderson. And actually with Youssef and Michela, and also with a postdoc of Michela, Stefano Cipolla, we are studying this variants of Anderson. Here are the variant. You just replace your matrix by another matrix. And we have tried to apply a semi-regularization. So here are the works which are in progress. Application to system of equation. We can, when I said this can be used for solving a system of non-linear equation, it does not mean that the solution is a vector. It can be a matrix equation. You solve S equal G of S, S must be a matrix. So we are able to solve matrix equations, scalar equations, vector equations, tensor equations. Because all these methods, and in particular the TEA, has been programmed. The software is in the public domain. Michaela will speak about it. And we are looking for a stable implementation, and this paper submitted, this is not true. It is published. We have extended chance transformation to matrices. I think this is the end, as this is the reference. This is the title will change. There is an additional author, and this is our paper in SIAM Review. So, thank you.